Hey everybody, what's up y'all? Welcome back to my channel. Tammy Talks here. Let's talk Ready to Love Season 5, Episode 10, Better Late Than Never. I'm late. I didn't do a video last week. School is killing me. I graduate in about a month, almost a month exactly. So once I get out of school, work has been crazy. Stuff will be back to the regularly scheduled programming next week. But if you're brand new to my channel, I do breakdowns on various TV shows, both scripted and reality, interjecting my own thoughts, opinions, and theories into each and every recap. So, if you enjoy the type of content, please consider subscribing to the channel, thumbsing up the video if you enjoyed this particular piece of content, and then hopping into the comment section, y'all, so we can talk about it. So, I told y'all about Sabrina. If you've been rocking with me through this entire season, I have told y'all about Sabrina. That's all I'm gonna say up front. So the episode picks up right where the last one left off, where Sabrina has Paul and Tori come forward because those were the two gentlemen that were down in the bottom. So Tori, she tells Tori that he hasn't been connecting with a lot of the other women, and we know that a lot of that's because he was so tunnel focused on Sabrina. It was Sabrina, 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 that he didn't really try to create any other connections or hone in on any other connections with any of the other ladies that were there. Paul, however, they feel is taking way too long to connect with some of the women. So he's kind of like now just kind of trying to come in and sweep through and figure out who he can connect with. And a lot of that we know is because the connections that these men are like honing in on one particular connection, and then when they see that that connection isn't really working for them, they like don't care about anyone else. So Paul is just like a late bloomer in terms of this. He wants these women to come to him, and that's just not how it's going. So Tori ultimately goes home. And then we see Demetrius smirking because in his mind, he thinks he just has Sabrina in the bag. Demetrius, I don't know if that's going to even work out. Like, because Demetrius is not showing any intent, any purpose, any real, like, I really want you, Sabrina. You know what I mean? He's just he wants Sabrina to do everything. He wants Sabrina to chase him down so that he can get her to be submissive. So Tori acknowledged that, he was too tunnel vision on Sabrina, and he knows that he just didn't give any of the other women a chance, but he's okay with that. And I think this process for Tori with dating several women, it's just not for him. It's not for everybody. And Tori is a person who, this was just not the best process for him. So we then see Demetrius and Sabrina having a conversation when everyone's back in the house. And it's very heated, kind of hushed, loud enough that, Joy, Thekia, and Carmen are kind of on the couch like, what's going on over there? Because that would have been me. So basically, Sabrina is just telling Demetrius that he needs to make forth an effort. She feels that they are both being very passive throughout the process. I'm glad that Sabrina is acknowledging that about herself. So they're both being very passive. Demetrius said the process is hard on him, and he'll be different outside of the process. And I'm calling bullshit on that. I feel like you need to be the way that you are now during the process so that she will know what's to come afterwards, because a lot of that sounds like smoke and mirrors. Don't tell me things are going to be different later. I want to see the change happen now. You know what I mean? And Sabrina feels like that as well. They're not giving each other enough attention. Again, this is how Demetrius has been throughout this entire process, though. He has always wanted these women to chase him. And when nobody was really chasing Demetrius like that, because the women were going for the other men that were showing them the most, the most attraction, the most attention. Like, I want to feel like you really like me. You know what I mean? I want to feel like you really like me. So then we have Carmen and Donovan. They're outside in the hot tub. And he tells her that he's very confident about their connection and where they're going. And it's going to be kind of up to her if she's willing to take things with him to the next level. Okay? So, Sabrina, my notes, y'all. Carmen said that Sabrina is a good girl, but she's a better woman. Carmen is messy. Carmen is messy and Carmen is insecure. Carmen is insecure because Carmen does not know how to stand on her own 2 feet. Carmen does not know how to stand in her own womanhood and her own attraction, her own sex, her own sexy, like she Carmen uses every opportunity that she can to tear down these other women, which is wild. Which is wild. Like, why are you even saying that? Sabrina's a good girl, but I'm a better woman. Girl, bye. You wear blue contacts. The fuck? So Donovan thinks that Camille Carmen, why keep calling her Camille? Donovan thinks that Carmen is confident, and I disagree. I disagree. Anytime somebody has to put others down to big themselves up, they're not exuding confidence. I like Donovan though. I really do hope he finds somebody. I think Donovan and Sabrina would actually make a better couple than Sabrina and Demetrius. So then we have Thekia. She's soaking on the couch because she feels that Clifton has picked Joy and he hasn't told her and he hasn't been honest with her. So Clifton comes out and he's talking to Thekia. And Thekia said, look, I can see that your connection with Joy is undeniable. I acknowledge that. I respect it. But I'm just kind of salty because why didn't you have this conversation with me, right? He said that his connection was just always stronger, and then when they got to the house, it was just very heightened. We know that they shared a room. Joy came in off rip and like put her stuff on the same bed that Clifton got. So the kid said she's fine with that. If that's how it happened, that's how it happened. She's still, she's hurt by that. She's a little salty, but ultimately, she just wanted to be made aware of it. She don't want to be out here looking like a fool or pining over you, when she could have been pursuing other potential connections. So she gets emotional. She walks away. She's outside, and I'm like, girl. So now we know that the key is just going to try to attach herself to anybody else that's on the show. And I think that's kind of my biggest issue with Ready to Love is that these women and sometimes men, they hone in on one person that they want a connection with. When that one person doesn't have, like, if that connection doesn't work, then it's just like, oh, okay, I guess I'll go talk to you. So I feel like a lot of people end up feeling like a second and third choice, and that's why these relationships don't necessarily work out. So Clifton says that, she deserves to be loved. She's a great woman. They had a great connection, but it's just not going to come from him. And I think they had a very mature conversation. I mean, it should have happened before that. It should have happened as soon as Joy put her bag on your bed. That conversation should have happened then, but there's nothing you can do about that. You know what I mean? He went the way that his heart pulled him, and that should be fine. So then we have Sabrina, Joy, Demetrius, and Clifton all in the hot tub. It's like a little double date, if you will. Demetrius is trying to show more attraction by like rubbing her feet, rubbing her legs. It looks awkward. It looks forced. It looks like I'm doing this because I have to. It didn't really seem genuine. On the other side of the hot tub, we have Clifton and Clifton and Joy, who you can see like the chemistry is just exuding off of them. You can tell that even if they weren't like attracted to each other, they have great chemistry as friends. And that is really the basis of what a strong relationship is. So, Clifton and Joy said they are going to continue working on nurturing their connection, hopefully getting it to the next step. And I hope they do. I hope it does work out for them. I like Clifton and Joy. Um, and then I like Sabrina and Donovan together. So then we see Donovan get in the bed with Carmen. So then Tina shows up the next morning. Like they're having their final breakfast. Like everybody's getting ready to go home. Here comes Tina pulling up in her red Benz. She said that she missed the getaway because she hasn't felt a strong connection with anybody. She walked in, it's super awkward. Everybody kind of has a problem with her being there, like low key. A lot of people feel like You came in on some bug because, like, why are you late? You didn't call anybody. She never let anybody know that she wasn't coming or what was going on. So people feel slighted by that, right? So Donovan and Tina go upstairs to have a talk. Um, Tina said that the reason that she didn't come is because she wanted to figure out her connections. And she needed to figure out her bonds, how close they were, how strong they were. Donovan is like, girl, that's what this weekend was for. And as of right now, because you can't communicate like an adult, you're not in good standing with any of the men right now. She was like, I'm okay with that because she don't like them. Well, I appreciate Tina for like realizing that she's not really feeling any of these men, and that's why she doesn't want to really pursue anything in that aspect. I just really wish that she would have done it in a more mature fashion. If you're really not feeling these people, then you're not feeling these people. And that's okay. But I just wish she would have done it in a more mature fashion where let's not, be an ass and then come up here and like she's on super defense mode. So he asked if she even wants to be there, and she was like, she don't know. So she comes downstairs. She goes outside. Donovan is upset because, Tina was one of his strongest connections. And he's hurt. He's offended that she didn't even have the decency to call him when he's been calling and texting her to make sure she's okay. So Paul is like, I don't even want to talk to her. Paul, don't nobody want to talk to you. It's fine. And something about Paul comes across very to me. I can't explain it. I'm sure he's cool, but the show has not shown him in the best light to me, at least. So Paul said he's just gonna cut his losses now with her. We ain't got nothing else to talk about. And then it's like some of the women are like, girl, I'm not even gonna speak to you. You came in late. Now, on one hand, if I was the other women, I would have no problem speaking to you. I mean, you ain't come up here to date me. Why would I be upset? So I don't. I didn't quite understand why, like Joy. Well, we know why Carmen's hating ass was acting like that, but I was like really shocked that Joy said that. Like that really took me off guard. So Carmen is outside, and then Tina goes outside. I'm sorry, Tina goes outside to talk to Carmen. No, yeah, Carmen went outside to talk to Tina. Carmen asked, why did you show up at the last minute? Tina said that she really only liked Donovan. She doesn't like anybody here. That her connections weren't as strong to her as she thought. She doesn't know if she's going to keep her connections open. So in Tina's reasoning is this is hard for her, right? It's hard for her to balance dating all these, dating several men, going through this process, probably all the extra things that they have to do that, involve filming in the show, all that type of stuff, on top of work, on top of being a mom, and then just on top of being a person. You know what I mean? So she doesn't know if she is ready to love in this capacity. Tina, lead the show. Lead the show. So we have Thekia and Paul. They go out on a date. She tells him that even though she is extremely guarded because she's been hurt in the past, her heart has been broken in the past, she still wants to find that fairy tale love with somebody at the end of the day. He said that, people that see her walking down the street should acknowledge that she's a queen, and if they don't, and I'm like, Paul is selling game right now because Paul does not really have a strong connection. So the Kia says that she feels that Paul will protect her heart. I said, oh yeah? All right, girl. We see Clifton and Joy out on a date. Clifton tells her that he now has tunnel vision on her because he broke it off with the Kia. Joy understands that they had to have that conversation because they did have a connection. Joy is happy about that. Like, she don't feel no way. Joy has been one of the most confident women on this show because anytime any of the other men that she might like is entertaining someone else, she's always on some, yeah, that's cool. If that's how it gotta be, that's how it's gotta be. So I like that about Joy, the fact that she is one of the more mature women on this show. So they said that they plan to stay consistent with what they have going, and they want to see where this journey takes them even after this process. And then once the cameras are gone, once filming is gone, let's see where our connection takes us by us being consistent in doing the work. So we get to the brunch. And as we know, the brunch is when people really start dwindling down and pairing up. So Tommy asks about the trip and asks if Tina ever shows up. Donovan was like, yeah, she came late. Like, Donovan was big mad. So Donovan said that after talking to Tina, Tina couldn't even give an answer on why she didn't really come earlier, on if she wanted to be there or not. So Tommy starts to go around and ask everybody about their connections. Now, this is one of the first times that the opposite spouses are going to hear how the opposite spouse feels about each person. You're gonna finally hear like the the red flags that these people have with you. So Joy said that her connection is great. She does not have any concerns because they have already talked through their biggest concern, which is stress. Clifton has an issue with um someone he's dating being friends with the ex, how often they talk, the nature of their now relationship. So they have talked through that. They're going to work through that, and that's really all they have to. That was their biggest issue. So they're just going to try to keep nurturing that. Paul said the process is a roller coaster. Okay, he said he thought Tina was solid. Now he thinks she's unsolid. I said okay. He said he likes both Thekia and Carmen, but he acknowledges that they are polar opposites. But he does so he likes Carmen, but he doesn't think that she is intentional. He feels that she is constantly sizing him up because a lot of the conversations are about like, what do you do? How do you feel about this? He feels that it's her bombarding him with questions, which I think is rather interesting because that's what Paul was doing initially in this process as well. So when Paul was first going on these dates, he was asking these women all these different questions, question after question after question after question, and not really having a conversation with them as well. So it's interesting that he now feels that the same thing is happening to him. Doesn't feel good, does it? So next thing you know, Paul and Carmen kind of get into it. It's like a little back and forth. And Carmen was like, well, my issue is that Paul doesn't talk about his dates. She said, I can ask him how a date went with someone else, and he doesn't say anything. Paul was like, because it's none of your business how stuff is going with me and another connection. On the one hand, I agree. But on the other hand, it's also like, it comes across as secretive too, because I do want to know where I stand in terms of your connections. So Carmen said that Paul told him that the date with the Kia didn't go the best, and that he said he needs to be with a woman that looks a certain way. And Paul, like, immediately, you can tell that Paul is pillow talking with Carmen, and Paul kind of looked up like, "Oh shit," because he did not expect for Carmen to not only bring it up in the group, but to bring it up to the kid. Paul said that he likes his women sexy, but he never said that the Kia couldn't do it for him. I thought it was so tacky that they were talking about the Kia like a piece of meat, or like just like she ain't shit right in front of her. So the Kia said that she does not believe Carmen because Carmen lies. She said that Carmen is always trying to spin things in different ways, which I can believe. So she thinks Carmen has had it out for her since Eric left because, Carmen was rocking with Eric. Eric is basically gone now because, low key, loosely, because of the Kia. So the Kia says she has no insecurities about how she looks, and she shouldn't. The Kia is extremely, like, she's a very pretty lady. She had a lot going for herself. She has her own career and all this other stuff, so she shouldn't be insecure. So then Carmen was like, if you don't have it to put out, then you just don't have it. And it just starts getting nasty. So the Kia is like, well, if you have something natural or bought. I said, woo! Because she buys them blue contacts. She buys them blue contacts. So Tommy was like, whoa, 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 whoa. Let's be respectful. Let's be respectful. Donovan is like, I'm looking at both Thekia and Carmen a certain way because it's childish. I wouldn't even, like, Thekia shouldn't be lumped into that because this was on Carmen. Really. Carmen started that. So then Sabrina says she's out to do the best thing for her. She said, Don, It's lighthearted and easy to talk to, but she's concerned about his relationship history and if he's ready to commit right now. Which I don't even know where that is coming from, but because you keep saying you like how his history matches yours with y'all both being recently divorced. She then says that Demetrius wants a passive woman, which that is not her default. Um, and she doesn't know if they could work to a healthy medium on what is going to work best for them with their personality types. Demetrius was like, well, my friend asked that question, but that doesn't speak for me. And that he said he's not going to give 100% during the process because he's not going to, overextend himself like that. He's going to wait until we're in a relationship and then he gives 100% to the person. Donovan then is like, if you have questions, you just have to ask because I'm transparent. Donovan then went on to say that he felt that there was, some disrespect when, just some of the things that Sabrina has done with Demetrius in front of other people, the feeding pizza and all this other stuff. And Sabrina was like, he's just mad because I called out his defaults. And I'm like, no, Sabrina, that's real. So I think what Sabrina's kind of missing is you got up and you nibbled on Demetrius's ear in front of everybody, right? Now at the table, you're feeding him pizza. I can see why someone else who you are claiming to have a connection with would feel away because you are doing it right in front of their faces. I don't disagree with Donovan about that. I feel like Sabrina expects these men to let her do whatever she wants and to do all this stuff and then just deal with it because it is the process and not have feelings about it. But then you just called out everything that you see wrong with them. Sabrina just seems like she's one of the women who feels like whatever she does, it should be like okay because of this. Like I feel like she gives the sense that she always has a reasoning or in a justification as to why she did something. I told y'all I've never really cared for Sabrina. Her attitude comes across very entitled, very I think I'm better than this, very I think I'm better than you. So Donovan then says that Sabrina told him, "You'll go home like the last one." I said, "I know she did. I 100% believe that." So Tommy said, "Is that what you said?" Because Tommy is probably thinking, "I know you fucking lying. You are not about to sit here and dictate who goes home like that." Sabrina said that's not true, and she said they were bantering back and forth, and that Donovan had said, "I wonder who is going to be going home." And Sabrina said, "I don't know, it could be you." And I kind of feel like if that is your connection, why would you even say that? Why would you even say that? So then Tommy sets up a time and date to meet up with Tina. Of course, she didn't show after Tommy has been waiting out there for an hour. So now we have Ace, Eric, and Tina that have all left the show because they just couldn't take it. That was Ready to Love, y'all. Let me know how you guys felt about it, and I will catch you guys in the next one. Peace.